All right, before my phone fell, we were talking about Imane, Khelif, whatever the correct pronunciation of that person's name is. And, okay, what's the real deal with that scientifically, right? This is not a video to get into the moral aspects of LGBTQ or transgenderism, separate conversation. I really just want to focus this on the idea of fairness in sports on one hand over against male pubertal or secondary sexual development. Because that's really the issue. Because even if a person has a condition, congenital condition, where they're born with external female genitalia, girl parts, and raised as a girl, because, you know, this happens. This is a very common thing. If you look at, for example, in Dominican Republic, there's a relatively common congenital disorder in genetic males, so XYs, called guavedoses, where their genitals are actually undescended testes. And so the testicles are up inside the body. So they're born with external female genitalia, but genetically they're males. Usually, of course, it's believed to be they're believed to be female. But what happens is that during puberty, right? During puberty, what happens is the testosterone from the internalized testes begins to crank out normal male quantities of testosterone, and that drives secondary sexual development. So things like increased muscle mass, increased muscle strength, increased endurance, all of those things that are associated with becoming a phenotypic, a normal biological male at puberty, plays out within their bodies, because that's not driven by the genitals, that's driven by the sex hormones. Okay, and so in the case of Imane, something very similar, either 5-alpha reductase insufficiency, which that's the sciencey name for guavedoses, or something very much like that caused Imane to undergo the male pattern of puberty, of secondary sexual development, giving Imane, I'm trying to remain gender neutral here with my terms, I'll just use the name, the male pattern of musculature, bone density, endurance, all of those things that give males a distinct advantage athletically, especially in power sports, and especially in combat sports, is true of this person. Okay, so we could get into the XY versus XX controversy. That really that actually just obfuscates things. The important thing is, here's the question, why do we have distinct categories for men, for normal males versus normal females when it comes to competitions like athletic events, and again, especially power events in combat sports? It's because male puberty, secondary sexual development driven by testosterone in males, confers upon males a very distinct advantage. This is not rocket science, okay? This is very, very, very basic endocrinology. It changes their physiology, it changes muscle structure, it changes bone structure, it changes all of those things, which confers a distinct advantage on males over against females. And so really kind of talking about, you know, these modern categories, postmodern categories of transgender, or this person identifies as this, that, or the other, or even getting into the, you know, more sciencey sounding XX versus XY controversy kind of misses the point. The point is, did this person undergo male secondary sexual development? And if the person did, regardless of genotype, regardless of how they identify, if that person underwent male secondary sexual development, then that person should not be competing in an Olympic athletic event, especially like boxing, against normal biological females. It's just not fair. It is truly an injustice to the sport. And so I just wanted to shine a little bit of light upon that. Hopefully that clarifies. We don't have to get into the XX versus XY controversy or distinction. It's not really controversy, but a distinction, I guess. Really, it's as simple as what type of puberty did that person experience, right? If they had male levels of sex hormones for whatever reason, be they XX or XY, during puberty, then they're going to undergo male pubertal secondary sexual development, and it's going to give them that distinct athletic advantage. Therefore, I would maintain quite firmly that it would be unjust to allow that person to compete against biological, normally developing females in athletic events in general, but especially athletic events like boxing. Hope that clarifies. If you got any questions, put them in the comments and I'll try to get to them after my morning prayer meeting. Thank you.